Hello. Now we are going to look at how to solve problems using sets. So we've been solving problems all along using sets, but these problem solving questions will tend to involve a lot of English, and usually we'll have some bit of information missing that we're going to have to try and find out. But the big difficulty in these questions, the big challenge, is taking a big block of English like this is our question with loads of words in it, and translating it into a Venn diagram. And once we've got the Venn diagram drawn for these questions, they're very straightforward, but we have to be able to do the problem-solving element of taking this block of information and turning it into a neat and effective Venn diagram. That's the real challenge here, taking all this mess and turning it into something that's a clear picture. We'll worry about the questions in a minute. The first step in any of these types of questions is going to be the Venn diagram. So by all means, read through them in the exam, but your first job is draw a Venn diagram. They are the absolute core of these questions. In a year group of 100 students, 44 do art, which we'll call A, 27 do home economics, which we'll call H, 30 do metalwork, which we'll call M. If 16 do art and metalwork, and 14 do art and home economics, and 4 do home economics and metalwork, and 29 do none of them at all, don't do any of the three, we're going to have to use this information to answer these questions. So how many students study all three, how many study art only, and so on. But first, our Venn diagram. So let's fill in the overall set amounts if we know them. We won't always, but in this case, we do. So in the year group, that's our universe. All the students we're talking about are in the year group. So that's going to be 100 students. How many in total study art? Well, 44 in total study art. 27 in total study home economics. And 30 in total study metalwork. I now have the overall sizes of my groups. There are 30 people in total in the green circle. There are 44 people in total in the orange or red circle. And there are 27 people in total in the blue circle, in the home economics circle. Now, whenever I'm filling in a Venn diagram, I know that I'm always going to start in the center and work my way out to the edges. We always start in the center and out to the edges. So I want to know how many people study all three of these subjects: art, home economics, and metalwork. That's what I want to fill in first before I do anything else. And I look down through my information and I'm not told that. So what I have to do is give it a name. I need to find this. And in maths, usually when we don't know something, we call it X. Now we can call it whatever we like, but usually we call it X. So X number of people study all three subjects, and we need to find X in order to be able to draw this Venn diagram out fully. I'm going to draw that to the side slightly, so later on we can fill in when we know what the number is. So X is what we need to find. And then let's see what else we know in our question. We filled in our overall set sizes. So 16 people do art and metalwork. So art and metalwork. 16 people in total are in the overlap of the green and the red circle, or the green and the orange circle. Well, if X people are in this part of it, then the remaining number here would be 16 minus X. In total, in the overlap, there are 16. If there are X in this bit, then there must be 16 minus X in this bit. And 14 do art and home economics. 14 do art and home economics. That means we're in this group here, the overlap of the orange or red and the blue circles. There are X number of people here, so there would be 14 minus X people in this part. So not including the green, not including the metalwork people, there would be 14 minus X people who only study home economics and art, but don't study metalwork. And then finally we have 4 do home economics and metalwork. So home economics and metalwork is the intersection of the blue and the green circle. And there are 4 people in total in this part of my Venn diagram. And we would have 4 minus X people in that part of the intersection, because there are X number of people here. There's 4 people in total, so it'd be 4 minus X people in what's left in here. The people who only study home economics and metalwork, but don't study art. And then finally, if we can, we're working our way out of the circle. We actually know this number, so as I'm reading down through these, in case I forget, I'm going to put down 29, do none of these 3. So I put down the number 29. I don't put a dot next to it because that's not the element 29. That's 29 people don't study any of these 3, but they are in this year group. Now let's fill in the remaining pieces of information. So how many people only study art? They don't study either of the other 2. How many people only study art? Well, I know that there's 44 people in total in this group, but I've removed this amount, and this amount, and this amount. So that would be minus all of these 3. So minus 14 minus x plus 16 minus x. And we add all of that up. That would be 44 minus 30 minus x, I should say. So we end up with 14 plus x. That's the number of people in here. So let's do the same thing here. In total, we have 27 people who study home economics, and we are going to subtract all of these groups. So we have 14 minus x plus 4 minus x. So we have 27 minus 18 minus x. So we end up with 9 plus x when we multiply our bracket by minus. And then here we have 30 people in total study metalwork, and we're subtracting each one of these to find out what's left in this bit. That's going to be 30 minus all of this stuff. So there's 30 in total in the green circle. So in this bit of the green circle, there would be 30 minus the bits that are in the other parts of the circle. So we just add them all up and subtract them away from the total, and that must be what's left in this part of the circle. Minus 20 minus x, so we end up with 10 plus x. Again, minus multiplied by 20 and then minus multiplied by minus x, so we end up with 30 minus 20 plus x is 10 plus x. Now, that's all of the sections, all of the parts of our Venn diagram filled in. This bit's filled in, this bit's filled in, and so on. All of them are now written out. I've now described my Venn diagram as clearly as I can. Looks a bit messy, but all of the bits are clearly described in terms of the bit that's missing, x, our intersection of all 3. What do I know about this information? Well, I know that all of the parts of this Venn diagram added together must add up to 100, because these are describing numbers of students in the year group, and I know in total there are 100 students. So what I need to do is add up 14 plus x, 14 minus x, 9 plus x, x, so on, all of the different parts of my Venn diagram, adding all of them up together must give me 100 students. So I add them all up. I add up so I've added them all up. 14 plus x plus 14 minus x plus 9 plus x plus 16 minus x plus 4 minus x plus 10 plus x plus 29 must all add up to 100. Now I just add up my like terms. So I have 14 and 14 and 9 and 16 and 4 and 10 and 29. And in terms of the x's, I have plus x, minus x, plus x, minus x, plus x, minus x, plus x. So I add all of that up. Adding up all my like terms, I get 96 plus x is equal to 100. Subtract 96 from both sides to get x by itself, and I end up with x is equal to 4. And then use that to fill in all of my missing information. So that's equal to 4. That's equal to 14 minus 4 is equal to 10. And we fill in all of our missing pieces. And now we have everything filled in. So we just put in x is 4 and did our sums. And now we know exactly what's in each part of our Venn diagram. Now the questions we're asked are very straightforward. We read them directly out of our Venn diagram. Because there's so many numbers involved, I have actually underlined each of the relevant numbers for myself so I can keep track of them more easily. You could circle them as well if you wanted to, because you need to draw your Venn diagrams quite big and then make sure that it's clear what you've got by the end of your sum. Now, let's answer some questions. How many study all three? Well, that's what we were just finding. So that's 4. And we can say, let's write this in set notation. So studying all three would be the intersection of all three sets is 4. Study art only. So how are we going to write that? Well, that would be art, but not anything in home economics or metalwork. So that is just going to be 18. Part 3, home economics and art, but not metalwork. So home economics and art, so that would be in this group here, but not metalwork, so we don't count the 4 that do metalwork, so we're just left with 10 people. Part 4, not art. Well, we know that that would mean art complement or the universe not art. These mean the same thing. So that would be anything outside of our orange circle, our red circle. So that would be 13 plus 0 plus 14 plus 29. So anybody in a set, you don't have to put in the plus 0 if you don't want to. It's just for completeness. When we add all of that together, we get 56. And then finally, 2 subjects only. Now, this one can be a little bit messy to write in set notation, but it's probably a worthwhile exercise to do out. So it would be the intersection of art and home economics, along with art and metalwork, along with home economics and metalwork, but excluding, but not the intersection of all three, these 4 in the middle. So that'd be 12 plus 10 plus 0. 12 plus 10 plus 0 ends up being equal to 22. So, sorry, and I should have had cardinal number written in for my last question. I forgot that piece in there. So just be careful of that. If you are asked a question about these, we are always talking about cardinal numbers in this particular question. So that's how we deal with our problem solving. There are a lot of steps to this, but they're all part of a story that we can tell ourselves. So we always start in the middle, and if we don't know something, we can call it X, describe everything else in terms of that unknown, in terms of that X, and then we can add up all of the elements inside our Venn diagram to get our total. They must equal our total. So all of the stuff in here must add up to our universal cardinal number, or our total for our question. And if we can keep track of that story, we can do any question that they ask. But we have to, again, start filling out the inside, then moving out to the rest of the intersections, then to what's only in the set, and then to what's outside all 3 sets, or all 2 sets, whatever the case may be. And if we do that methodically and tell ourselves the story using the Venn diagram, there's nothing they can ask us that we can't do. And that's what we need for now.